Hello everyone, this is Husky here, back some more Starcraft 2 Heart of the Swarm 1v1 action. This time it's going to be another game between Liquid TLO down in the bottom right, bottom left side. It's not that late yet. Up at the top right side, it is going to be EG JYP. And, yeah, another PvZ. I gotta say, I love any time that these two teams duke it out. Liquid versus EG. I don't know if there's like a true, legit rivalry there, but I do feel like there should be, because these two teams, again, are some of the most popular outside of Korea, some of the most successful teams outside of Korea, and I know I've already said this, but my God, do I love both these teams. Such good players on both teams as well. Of course, Idra recently getting kicked off EG, but Idra did leave behind quite an awesome team. Lots of talent and personalities there. JYP is no exception. One of the Koreans on the team. I will say, though, that he hasn't had much success lately over the last couple of months. We'll have to see if he can actually pull it out for Dreamhack, as this game is going to be from Dreamhack. And the last game was actually so good between these two players, decided to go ahead and cast it again. Not the same game. It is, of course, a different game. But I do want to say, in that last game, if you didn't watch it, definitely go check it out. There's a lot of things that are learned there by both Zerg and Protoss. I think the Protoss, JYP in that last game, was not being very smart in his unit composition. There was a timing where he had about was it a 60 supply lead, 50 supply lead, something like that. Decided not to capitalize on it, and well, it's not that he decided not to do that, it's just what he ended up doing, didn't capitalize on it. And I think the problem was that he didn't have Blink soon enough, so he swung around, killed two bases, thought he was going to be fine, retreated, but the problem is that TLO kind of went Defender Zerg style and actually went for the Broodlords. Now, normally Broodlords versus Protoss right now are actually sort of a desperation move. We'll watch the little dance of death here between these workers. Actually, good control here by both players so far. Don't want to lose that probe. You definitely want to keep that probe alive, either for putting up proxy pylons for scouting, or just for running home and getting extra minerals there, or the potential to block off the third base, which this map has the word planet in it, but normally on this map it's very difficult to secure a third base compared to other maps, so that probe might not have much luck delaying them, because TLO very well could go for some sort of two-base play, although he hasn't gotten gas yet, though. So that tells me that he may be trying just to go for another base. He's sending out a drone already. I assume this is not the scouting drone, the coveted scouting drone, after Cannon has already gone down. Nope, it is going to go ahead and be a third base right now. No probe in sight to delay that. The probe actually just getting those delicious, delicious high-yield minerals. Is going to bring that back home, or not. Or he's just going to run around showing it off. He's like, hey, look, I found gold over here. Just going to be showing it off to everyone. He should be able to spot that expansion, and he does. There he goes. So he does know about that third base, which I'm honestly a little bit surprised that TLO is going to be going for such an early third base without having the best read on what his opponent may go for. I just can't help but feeling like Phoenix or something like that may be very effective on this map. Because look at this. The Phoenix can fly back here. There's not a lot of room for the Phoenix to hide safely, but say you're harassing drones over here, ya-da-da-da. And the Hydra's swinging around here to try and defend that. Then all of a sudden the Phoenix just hop over this little ravine right here, this little cliff, and all of a sudden they're down here, and these units are way out of position. They have to run all the way around, and then you harass. You can fly down here. Guess what? Now you're in the main base and escape out the bottom right. Now, I don't think we're going to be, well, I actually don't know if we're going to be seeing that or not, but it feels like it could be good. We're going to be seeing a Cybernetics Core going down right now at the natural here. The one cannon there should be enough to defend this. The thing that always sucks for Protoss at this stage is the Zerg player actually going for a super all-in or something like that? Did he cancel the hatchery? Does he have a Roach Warren down? Is there going to be another Baneling bust? What exactly is going to happen? And Protoss doesn't really know. I mean, because there's really no way to scout at this stage of the game for Protoss other than just a probe. Because you're not going to really have hallucinated Phoenix out yet. You're not going to have an actual Phoenix out yet. You're not going to have an Observer out yet. So not a whole lot of options for scouting in the early stages. We are going to be seeing a Chrono Boosted Stalker, though, which this is really starting to kind of fall out of favor, just because, I mean, they've learned that the Stalker doesn't really do all that much. I mean, once you learn a map well enough, you know where the Overlords are most likely going to be, so you don't need him right away to deny scouting or anything like that. But we do have a second Stalker being Chrono Boosted out, so this is actually going to be for very deliberate pressure. Now, TLO's going to see this. He's going to see that the Stalker is this far out in the center of the map, and he's going to go, oh, you're actually going to be kind of aggressive right now. He saw the Zealot, he saw the Stalker, and he's got to assume that there may be another Stalker possibility to follow up. And he also has to worry about the possibility of a Mothership Core being in the mix right here. It looks like the Queen will be caught out of position. Will she pay the ultimate price, though? Well, we're about to find out. Remember that you want the Stalker shooting the Queen if possible, just because the Stalker can chase down the Queen easily, and killing off a couple Zerglings is not really worth it if you end up losing this attack. And the Air Stalker has joined in. It is going to be a micro battle here between these two players to try and keep these units alive. An Immortal is already on the way. Is he actually going to rally that Immortal all the way across the map, or is he going to keep it back for defense? We are about to find out. It does look like a couple of drones here may get taken out. Remember that the other Queen is dangerously low, so she's not going to really be helping out in this battle at all. She's TLO is going to want to keep her back at the main base. The Stalker there gets surrounded. Creep is pretty freaking good, and that Stalker going to try to escape or hit the Zealot here. Gets a couple of kills. But when the dust has settled, TLO is actually going to come out ahead there as he was able to save that Queen. I think the idea there was to kill a Queen, but TLO just did the old switcheroo. I mean, this Queen's going to sit back, slowly begin regenerating her HP, and Zergling speed is done. Oh my god, TLO, you're so good. I almost feel like the way that TLO held that off was basically designed to go up against a build that he did go up against. So ends up actually working out for him. Is going to try and run inside there, but guess what? Sentries are in position to be able to deal with that. So again, just evening up the units lost here a little bit. But I would say that TLO is in a comfortable spot here. Now he's got the extra Queen out, and if he actually 2-0 sweeps JYP, that would be a huge feather in his cap, a notch on his shoulder, a dollar in his wallet. It would be another Pokemon added to the 150 that I'm sure he already has. But either way, it's going to be good for him because JYP, I mean, he's a good player, man. Anytime that's a non-Korean can beat a Korean, given it happens a lot more than it used to, so I shouldn't really, you know, emphasize it like that. Oops, sorry, I bumped the mic there. But that just shows that you know, the training regimen that TLO has been doing is actually starting to pay off. Now, we are actually seeing a Sentry Immortal. Oh my god, I feel like it's been ages since I've seen one of these, and he's added on all the gateways in the back. Now, does TLO have a good read on what's going on? That's going to be the real question. He saw the robotics there. Now he sees the Sentries, the Mothership Core, and the Immortals. And look at this. He's keeping his Overseer over here. He wants to know, all right, what's this army looking like? And if he can delay it just a matter of seconds here, that's going to be huge. Because remember, the Hydro Stint just finished. So every second that's going by, that's going to be more and more. Oh, dear. Those slings did get in there. Although nice force field to be able to save that. He would have liked to be able to do that just a little bit earlier. I mean, Sentry Immortal all in is just so tough to pull off these days because you're seeing a lot of players go for speed Hydras now, and right now it's going to be range Hydras for TLO. And the fact of the matter is that he's not relying on roaches right now to engage this, so he's actually going to be in great shape. I honestly think JYP, if he could see what was going to be heading his way, that securing a third base here might actually be the viable option. However, if JYP can get in here and kill off this hatchery that's morphing in, this hatchery is very unfortunately placed. I think he is going to force the cancel. There goes one base, and he may decide to retreat right now because that is a lot of units of TLO, but here we go. Can this army actually engage directly? It looks like JYP going to try and do it for now. Cuts the army into about that's like a 20th. Didn't really cut it in half or anything like that, but I honestly think going for the expansion, expanding on the back would be best for JYP. He's going to continue to go forward, though. I mean, he's got a little bit of momentum, but the problem is that these Hydras, I mean, the more and more Hydras that start to spawn, this army starts to be more and more worthless. I mean, what are Sentry Zealot going to do versus Hydralisk? Well, only one thing, die, because he's not going to have the correct units here. Now, he does have the +1 attack. He's got Colossus on the way. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, he killed that base for the most part. He may have overextended his welcome for now. Does manage to take down the fight. Ooh, turn around, kill the Zerglings. There he goes. But he's got to watch out for these Hydras. If they get up here past these force fields, although those force fields were actually perfect here, might be able to kill off the Overseer as well. And these units right now, the Hydras will actually be able to retreat right now. More reinforcements going to warp, and these should be Stalkers. Now, normally the follow-up is going to be Stalkers, just because you can engage those with, oh dear, gotta watch out, TLO actually has his army now trapped over here. I think JYP may need to push forward, snipe the hatchery on his way around, and then try to retreat from these Hydras. Not sure if he's gonna have a chance there. Good time warp, could have really waited to use that. You would have liked to have that for a better engagement, because really you don't want to use time warp to prevent the army from getting us around. You want to use it to prevent it from retreating. That's going to be the strongest point that you can use. Although right now, looking pretty good. Those forces are going to be cutting this army into about a third, which is excellent. Although TLO engaging from multiple directions right now to try and whittle down this army. Now remember, it's up to TLO here to whittle down the army. It's not to kill it right away with one big surge of units. He wants to prevent these units from escaping. He wants to prevent them from killing off the base, and he's got to do just that. He's got to finally reinforce this enough to kill it off, and the two Immortals could actually evacuate in the Warp Prism if they wanted to, which is exactly what he tries to do. The Immortal with full health is like, hey, why'd you take me? Why don't you take me instead of the one with no health? So, I don't know, I guess TLO just has no heart, just kind of kill that off. He doesn't care if the Immortal gets left behind or not. Cancels, I think that was a drone there, because yeah, this is one problem with Zerg, is that if you're building with larva, after a hatchery is killed, then you might have to cancel that because you can't throw down the hatchery once again. But anyways, TLO did end up losing that third base, sort of. I mean, he's got to be able to long distance mine here for a little bit. He's still got his creep there because of the creep tumor, so he definitely took a blow there. However, JYP taking a much larger blow from TLO. So taking a look overall, though, at the units that are on the field, we do have a Colossus. I believe just one. Might have two. Nope, not just yet. He does have one on the field. He might actually attack with this. I mean, the one Colossus is going to be great. I forget, does he have extended thermal lance? Well, we're about to find out. No, he doesn't. So he definitely needs to have at least two Colossus here to engage what TLO currently has, because he doesn't have extended thermal lance. And with extended thermal lance, maybe one Colossus could kind of make it work there. But like, for example, that Queen just survived because of no extended thermal lance. This army right now got to try and cut off these Overlords, but with just sentries here, it makes it painfully slow. I mean, yes, TLO is going to be losing a couple Overlords there, but it's at a snail's pace at this point. Apparently, creep gets really weird on this part of the map. Can you unload guys right on this thing? I honestly have no idea. It looks kind of like a slip and slide or a water slide or something. But anyways, apparently creep does end up going up there, and it does look like a drop going to be happening over here. He might try and snipe the Queen. I think going for the Queen would be best. Yep, one Zealot's going to stick to the Queen and be able to kill that off. Now he can go for the drone kills here. The drone's trying to escape there. The other Queen dangerously low on HP. This is exactly what JYP needs to do. This is what he needs to do in the other games, just be more aggressive with these drops. Overseer just chilling out over here, pretending like he's an observer, like people can't see him, but people can see him. There's going to be the warping of Stalker. I almost said Stalkers, but it's only a singular Stalker there. So not sure if he's going to be able to do too much there. It does look like the Overlords here will be able to spot this Warp Prism. It's basically saying, hey, there's Warp Prism over here. Don't let him warp in reinforcements. Are there going to be any air units on the way? Yes, there are. 9 mutas. That's probably going to be their first target, is that Warp Prism. And honestly, revealing the fact that you have mutas by killing a Warp Prism, totally worth it. Because number one, you're not going to really have time to react here. And number two, I mean, it's a Warp Prism. It costs a lot of money here. TLO, after killing that off, has evened up the units lost. Keep in mind, oh, this is such bad time for JYP. If he was able to get, oh, and losing the Colossus there. JYP falling apart right now. Every time I try and say something, he just makes another blunder. So losing that Colossus there to Zerglings, I mean, that's completely unacceptable for him at this stage of the game. Yeah, he's going to have extended thermal lance, but it's only going to be on one Colossus. Might actually be able to do lots of damage here, though, with that Colossus on the Hydras, on the Lynx. Force field's looking good on the right side, but guess what? All those Hydras are shooting because the Zealots are over there. The Colossus need to be attacking those Hydras. Lots of flash damage potential there, but he misses his chance. However, he will actually be able to kill us off. Keep in mind, there's going to be a counterattack down the south side. This pylon just right up in the face of TLO. He might actually get this hatchery, and he definitely will. The Zealots still only have +1 attack, though, and the third, fourth base composition for TLO has been taken out, which is actually exactly what we saw in the last game, where JYP is able to whittle it down to 2 bases, so he ties it up base count-wise, but is unable to fully commit to actually end the game right now. And once again, taking a look at the units lost overall, you can see JYP is in the lead. So this is a very similar situation to what we saw in the last game, where TLO taking a lot of damage, losing those bases, getting on even bases, and then managing to come back into the game. Now, the reason I call a comeback so far is these Mutilisks could prove to be quite devastating. Oh, this army's caught up here. Does TLO have enough to engage it directly? I don't think so. There should be enough on the right side to hold this off for now. The main thing, though, that JYP needs to watch out for, let's take a look at the units tab. What are you noticing that's very similar to last game? An overabundance of Stalkers and not any sort of other tier 3 tech other than Colossus. This is such an old school way of playing out this matchup, where if you have lots of Blink Stalkers, that's fine. If you have lots of Colossus, that's fine. That's not necessarily the case anymore. Oh god, these probes are so clumped up. This is what I'm talking about. This is not the unit composition you want. You want to have High Templar. You want to have Archons back to defend. Yes, a Photon Overcharge, but I mean, that's only enough to shoo them away for now. And that's kind of like throwing out a bunch of food for the pigeons and then yelling at them. It's only going to scare them away for a moment as the pigeons do fly back in. Although he does have these units trapped here a little bit. Might actually kill off a lot of those mutas there. At the same time, a couple misrallied Hydras are going to get taken out. Maybe they were sacrificial Hydras to distract away from killing off these Mutilisks. But for now, I still feel like JYP's unit composition is not ideal, because basically Muta, Corruptor, Hydra is going to do a lot of damage to this. If the 2 Colossus do not survive, the composition just falls apart, because then it's basically just gateway units versus Hydralisks, which at this stage of the game, not really ideal, although both players are pretty low on upgrades, so that could kind of go either way on that one. Plus 1 attack done. Wants to on the way right now, but it does look like the Corruptors are not going to be able to deal with the Colossus right away. Now the Corruptors, they don't ever have to be rebuilt right now. And again, mass gateway units is not the best here. I feel like JYP is just not learning from his mistakes in the last game. He's not getting out Archons, he's not getting out Psystorm, because I'm telling you guys, if you see this many Hydras from your opponent, Psystorm is like OP as hell. Basically, think of Hydras as kind of like the new Marine Marauder composition. We see a lot of Berserk players go for Roach Hydra, and Psystorm, good versus Marine Marauder, and it is good versus this amount of Hydras, because it's so tempting to get the Colossus. That's normally the answer for Protoss, but Pure Stalker is just not going to be enough right now. We'll see if he actually manages to make something happen here. Good blink control so far. Force fields could use a little bit of work. People would love to trap more units than that. However, JYP is going to be aggressive here. Takes out yet another Queen. So many Queens have died, but really what JYP wants to do here, play the deny game, take out one of these bases, retreat, go for Archons, go for Storm, keep a couple Colossus in your unit composition, and then go for it. But for now, I can't help but say it again and again. He's got the old school unit composition. We'll see if he actually manages to make it work. Does manage to intercept these Corruptors. Now would be a good time to get out a Colossus or two after that kind of freebie right there. Oh, with a freebie comes another freebie, though. Those transferring probes, wrong place, wrong time. Unless your name is TLO, and the Nexus is going to go down. So I think we're going to be seeing a counterattack right now as JYP realizing, well, I just lost a lot here. He's going to be able to kill off several drones. I honestly think at this point the hatchery is the most important part. Although here we go. Looks like it is going to be a base race. Force fields on the ramp. There is enough sentries to force field indefinitely if their energy is high enough. We'll just have to wait and see, though. All these probes got to get taken out. That is so many probes. JYP gotta go out for blood himself, though. Notice how he just needs a couple Stalkers up here to kill this off. He does have another mining base down here that he needs to deal with, but JYP looking to be in a pretty good spot. But I'm kind of curious actually on the legit army supplies. 89 to 100. Yeah, JYP's actually looking to be able to take this game. Needs to kill off this hatchery if possible, because he doesn't want any more gas mined by TLO, and it is now once again down to 2 bases. 1 Stalker over here really to leave that to kill it off. I think he's worried about the army engaging him directly, and it is going to. Guardian Shield thrown out, needs to start blinking away. Oh my god, attacking from every which way though is TLO. Drones getting out of the mix. Time Warp going to be coming out. This is actually anybody's game at this point. The Hydras on the right side do manage to get us around, and it looks like the drones making the difference with no Archons, with no Storms, with no Colossus. These drones are actually absorbing so much of this damage. The Hydra's just going to be running up here to clean this out, and once again, JYP suffers from old Protoss syndrome, where you just can't rely on that unit composition. It's so weak versus Mass Hydra, and even mixing in the drones was absolutely brilliant. They absorbed just a couple of volleys from those units, which is all they needed to. Now, if it was an Archon, a Psystorm, or a Colossus, this would have been an absolute different story. But all of a sudden, JYP is in full retreat mode, but unfortunately, it was just pure Stalker versus this amount of Hydras. It is not going to work out. Sure, you'll get some cheeky kills here and here off the high ground, but this is TLO's game now. And I gotta say, TLO does a fascinating job of losing lots of bases and still managing to win. I think he's lost more bases than we've seen recently in a PvZ. And to actually be able to come back from that is huge. I mean, it shows you just how patient he is. He waits till the absolute last possible moment to attack. It definitely reminds me of Crank, for example. That's exactly how he plays out Protoss. And, oh, a little changing right there. Does get taken out. And it does look like TLO, I mean, he just has enough stuff. At this point, JYP was unable to get up that third base. There's the blink, but the force fields here are not going to be helping out all that much, because the majority of the Hydras are shooting, and there's more reinforcements on the way. Double the supply right now for TLO, and I mean, I think that's it, unless this one Colossus is literally the most hero Colossus of all time. Is he the hero that the Protoss deserves, or is he just the Colossus that they need right now? I think it's probably a little bit of both. If this Colossus does not manage to pull a miracle here, then that is going to be it. It's basically Colossus versus TLO right now, and I don't think it's going to be enough, especially the Corruptor there can easily Corruption on that Colossus there. He does get some decent shots off with this Colossus, lots of splash damage to those Hydras, but that's going to be it for the Colossus. Down it goes. That's probably going to force a GG here in just a moment, because all he's got is a couple of Stalkers, and indeed it does. At the 27-minute mark. I mean, just look at this mini-map. This is so weird for a pro-level game. Mined out in the main and essentially the natural as well. for both players, but they also kind of lost their natural bases. I gotta say, TLO somehow managing to make it work. This game may not see that close, but it's basically 13 Hydras, and that's it for TLO. I mean, his income's not looking that great. All he's got is mineral income here, and he was able to win, which is a handful of units there at the end. So I gotta say, 2-0ing JYP is TLO, which is absolutely impressive. Like I was saying before, TLO has been streaming a lot, but he's in tip-top shape right now. And his practice regimen, which I know I've said like 100 times, but it's looking good. It's looking good for TLO. This could definitely be his year. It's shaping up that way, and we're going to be seeing him a lot more in WCS, by the way, because of his recent performances. So can't wait to see that stuff. Hopefully he is practicing a lot. Hopefully he's in a good mindset, and hopefully he just becomes a champion. I think everyone would love to see that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.